What's up, guys? K-Train Garage. Here we have 2005 Impala. A common problem is the sway bar, the end corrodes and separates, resulting in poor handling, sometimes rattling, and sometimes the steering will pull one way or the other when you hit a bump. And then once you correct it, it stops. There is a replacement for this design that fixes the issue where this rusts and separates early in the car's life. And we're going to change that out today. If you're going to do this, it's important you get the whole kit from DORMAN. It comes with a different bracket and different rubber feet because the replacement is larger. It's 33 millimeters in diameter than OEM. So you're going to want to make sure you get the whole kit. You can get new attachment studs, new straps, new rubber, so it'll fit. And that's going to make sure you get the most out of your new sway bar. The new sway bar ends have an improved design where this is one formed piece. It doesn't get welded together. So to get the link bolt out, you're going to need to hold it at the top and bottom to loosen it. To get the strap out on the passenger side, I have the wheel turned the whole way to the right so that I can get past the boot of the power steering and drive that bolt out. This way you can do the job without having to remove anything else. The sway bar is free of its bracket. But due to the shape of the bar and the design of the steering and the suspension, you need to remove the bolts for the front subframe attached to the unibody. When you do this, you need to support the center of the cross member of the subframe. But with that free, and then we lower it just enough, the bar will be able to pass that way. And we just pass the new one in, and then we can bolt it back together. While you have it down, as long as you have it supported well with a jack and a jack stand, you can put the straps back on for the sway bar with it down, because there's a lot more room here. Like these brake lines make it very tight. But that's what is expected to pull this sway bar out and put the new one in. When you do that, you need to make sure that up at the top of the power steering rack where the steering column attaches is, but when lowering it, you need to remove the pinch bolt that attaches the power steering rack to the lower section of the steering column. If you don't do that, lowering this is going to put a lot of stress on there, and it's probably going to break it. To get to the lower pinch bolt, we need to push the seal back And then this steering rack can separate from the steering column. When you're doing this, make sure the wheels are straight forward so you don't mess up your steering travel. Here's the pinch bolt we need to loosen so that the steering rack can come down with the front subframe. With the pinch bolt gone, the steering rack can slide out of the lower steering assembly, and then we just make sure that it goes back in there whenever we bring the subframe back up. So with the frame supported, we remove the frame to body bolts. With frame to body bolts gone, now I'm going to let this down just enough so I can kick this out and put the other bar in. And then when I get this back together. So we're on the passenger side. This is how far I had to let it down so that I could rotate it so that it could come out. So now we'll slide the new one in the same way. Set up the brackets and then pick it back up. Power steering only came this far out of the steering shaft. So I should be able to push it back up, put the pinch bolt back in, and the steering should be exactly the same. We have the frame pushed back up. We have the pinch bolt back in the steering. This link bar, I've only just tightened with my hands. You're not supposed to tighten this until you have the weight back on the vehicle. But before we move on to putting the vehicle down to tighten this, we want to tighten these straps to 53 Newton meters. We can get power steering back out of our way to do it, to tighten this front one. I tightened this one before I put the frame back up. This one, I need to be able to turn the wheel all the way to the left to get this out of the way, and then I can tighten this with the torque wrench. But I wanted to get this one when I saw the room because these lines on the driver's side make it really tight.